There is abundance in a universe, and we all have the ability to tap into our deepest dreams. You can learn and grow at your own speed, and build a business based on your own needs. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Why do we wait until tomorrow when we could do it today? Step out of your comfort zone and take a leap of faith. You can learn and grow at your own speed, and build a business based on your own needs. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Bedrock bookkeepers rock it from their home. Bedrock bookkeepers make it on their own. Bedrock bookkeepers live it in the zone. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family. Well, I bet you didn't know you could make money from your home and take control of your security. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that you could make it on your own and take good care of your family.
Hello, entrepreneurs, jump starters, Team Bedrock, Joe DiChiara coming to you live from downtown BGC. That's Bonifacio Global City. I thought it was going to get tongue-tied there. If you're watching live, like Catherine is, also known as Erin. Hello, Catherine. We had to change her name because we already had a Catherine on our team. So I'm grateful that Catherine, also known as Erin, was willing to make that sacrifice for us, because I get easily confused. There's only a couple of things that I'm really good at, and some parts of accounting I'm really good at. I'm good at problem solving, complicated tax situations. I'm good at structuring a business. I'm good at sequencing, let's call it an accounting system. I could look at any business and see where the holes are and how to plug them. I don't know anything about relationships or raising children, and a lot of other things. I'm dangerous enough to do things like a website. Believe it or not, it was 4 years ago, I was doing everything. Hello, Miss Luz. Why aren't you working? Why aren't Luz has a lot of work to do, but she keeps stalking me on these lives. I must be doing something that makes her laugh. But it was a little over before we hired Janine, it was just me and my assistant at the time, Elizabeth. Okay, and we hired Janine to do to help with social media. Actually, we tricked her because now she's vice president of marketing, and she's doing a lot of things that she never did before. So thank you, Janine. And so Elizabeth, I never actually hired Elizabeth. Elizabeth started stalking me because I was doing at least one Facebook Live a night, at least. Sometimes two, sometimes three, because that's what I was told would get me a following. And Elizabeth was a very, very brilliant young woman. She was an attorney that didn't like being an attorney, so she started a business called Collaborative Creators. And she tricked me. You know, there's a lot of trickery going on. She asked me to write an article, and I did it, and she was just testing me to see if I could do it. So I wrote the article. She was impressed, and she just started following me on my lives, commenting, and then she started actually helping me with the post. And so much that I said, you're spending so much time on my stuff, I need to start paying you, otherwise I'm going to feel guilty. So she tricked me into hiring her. And that was a little over 4 years ago. So she was with me for about 6 months, and then we hired Janine. But before Elizabeth, I did the website, I did the graphics, I did all the social media posting. I would do the Facebook Lives and then download the video and edit the video. I don't know how the heck I did it all. And on top of that, I was still maintaining my clients as best as I could, and I was getting new clients. And on top of that, it was COVID. So I think back and I said, oh my God, if I could survive that, well, I don't even want to say that, but that seems like it was decades ago. And why am I telling you all this? I'm sharing this partly because it's my story, it's my journey. I didn't always have a team. You know, people might look at Bedrock and they might say, "Oh my God, Joe DiChiara has all these people working for him. You know, he's so lucky." It took a long time. It took a lot of time, a lot of hard work. In the beginning, you know, we hired people, it didn't work out. We kept getting better. And so what does that mean to you? That is the entrepreneurial journey. Okay. If you're thinking about going into business, I want you to think hard about it. Because it might seem like, oh, you have all this freedom, you can make your own thing. Yeah, you can. You have freedom to choose what you do, who you do it with, how you do it. You're the boss. That's not always fun. It's not always fun to be the boss. Believe me, a lot of times I've thought about going back to driving my ice cream truck. That was simple. That's probably one of the only businesses that I look at that has never changed. When I look inside an ice cream truck, it's exactly the way it was when I drove one. Wow, it was almost 50 years ago. It was about 46 years ago. They still don't take credit or debit cards. There's no internet. I mean, it's the same way it was. And that was simple. And it was a lot of fun. So these lives, so if you're part of the Jumpstart community, you know, our objective is to show people, not just teach them, but show them how they could have their own agency. which means you can get to the point where you have a team like I do, and you're not doing all of the work like I had to do not so long ago. Now it's a journey. It's a journey, and it really depends on where you are right now. And that's where we start. We say, okay, what is your situation right now? And what is your intention? Where do you want to be, let's say 5 years from now? And if you're listening to me, I told you 4 years ago it was just me. If I could do it and you follow my steps, 4 years from now, you could have a team just like me. If you're willing to put in the work and make the sacrifices. Okay, because everything comes with a price. Just because you're in charge doesn't mean there's still not going to be some pain and suffering. I'm reading a book right now by Simon Sinek, and it's called Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last. And part of growing a business is learning how to become a leader. In October, we had our second Jumpstart event, and the team and I and a few other people, we went out to dinner, and my coach, Larry Broughton, was there, and we went to this really nice restaurant, right? And I was starving. I was really, really hungry, and the food came, and I just started digging right in, and Larry was just sitting there, and I said, "Aren't you going to eat?" And he looked at me and he said, "Leaders eat last." So I put down my fork and I waited until everyone else started eating. Okay, so tonight, what we're going to talk about is something that I actually talk about to all of my clients when we start out. Now, do they listen? Most of them don't. Most of them don't, to be honest with you, because I'm dealing with American entrepreneurs. And if you're on my team, you know this. If you've taken one of my classes, you've heard me say this. American entrepreneurs are like 3-year-olds. Literally. I had a client a couple of weeks ago. Every day I was getting a text message from her. Is there any update on my tax return? Is there any update on it? Is there any word? When is my tax return going to be done? So this was like 2 weeks ago, and I know the reason. She wants her refund. She wants her refund because she didn't do what I advised her to do with her budget. Okay, so I sent her let's not say it was a nasty email. It was, listen, we are working on your return. It's a big, complicated return. So I said, we are working on your return. To be honest with you, you're acting like a little child that keeps asking his parents, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? If you've never had that, if you ever took one of your kids on a trip, they just want to get there. They don't care that it's 300 miles away. They're just like, I'll get in the car, and 15 minutes later, they're going to be saying, are we there yet? So most of our clients, and I'm the same way. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm from America, and I'm like, yeah, I act like a 3-year-old sometimes. And if you don't believe me, you can ask Luz. Am I right, Luz? You can put it in the comments there. I act like a 3-year-old sometimes. Sometimes I throw temper tantrums. If I don't get what I want when I want it, and then I have to be reminded. I've gotten better. I've gotten better at it, but I'm still really, and I think all entrepreneurs are like children. and we have to be. We have to be, because we do stuff that only children would do. And here's a funny story, because I just got done with Elon Musk's biography. It's a if you're into reading, it's a big book. It's over 500 pages. But if you want to know the inner workings of probably one of the most interesting men that ever lived. Okay, and I'm not saying that I'm a fan of people like Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, going all the way back to Marcus Aurelius. This guy is off the charts. And one of the things that he instituted with Tesla that saved them billions of dollars, he got from looking at a little Matchbox car, a little Matchbox, because he has a lot of children and they had little Matchbox cars. And he turned it over, and what got to him was that the chassis of the Matchbox car was all one piece. It was one piece. And when you're building a car, the chassis are normally done in multiple steps, all different parts. And every time you have that, it adds to the cost. It adds to the cost. And if you think about it, the chassis isn't as strong. So they went to all the, I think it's die cast, all the biggest places in the world that die cast metal. And all of them said, you're crazy. You can't die cast an entire chassis for one of your cars. It's impossible. One company said, we'll do it. We'll do it. And they did it. It worked. And it was just one of the things that turned Tesla around. It was a whole lot of little things like that. And it was a whole lot of little things that helped him turn SpaceX around. And what he told his team was, we got to start thinking more like toy manufacturers. And he used Legos. He used Legos as an example. He said, they make all these little tiny pieces, and somehow they all fit perfectly. Now, he's a manufacturing genius. That's his, he'll get down to the lowest, minutest detail of the manufacturing process. And he looked at Lego and he said, we should be able to manufacture things just like they do. So he told his team, we got to start thinking more like children. And so he plays with a lot of toys. Okay, so I'm an Elon Musk fan. Anyway, that has nothing to do with our content for tonight. And if you can do me a favor, if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the recording, give me a hashtag recording. Because I get, every time somebody does that, I actually get a message. And if you're watching the recording, it makes me feel good. But also, if you have some kind of comment, a question, if you put it in the chat, thank you, Catherine. Another team member that isn't working. They all take breaks to watch my Facebook Live, but I do appreciate it. You'll just have to make up the time on Saturday. Hello, Deck, my newest follower. You've been on a lot of my Facebook Lives. I appreciate that. So let's get into managing your finances. And so this is why this topic is important. For my client that was harassing me, the end of that story is, and it was 2 weeks ago, so I just said, we'll meet on April 8th. because it was so far out in the future. I said, if I just give her the date, she won't bother me. And then I looked at the date and I said, oh my God, now I have to actually meet with her. But some of my team members will be there, right, Catherine? Catherine and Agnes will be there to defend me. Anyway, I want everyone to pray for me. She's in business. She's got a substantial business doing millions of dollars a year. She's got millions of dollars in mortgages, millions of dollars in assets. And cash flow is essential. It's to every business. Every business. Okay? But here's the thing. Hello, Janine. I see you there. I see that you another team member. Actually, Janine is off. She should be watching her kids right now. And if she's not watching her kids, she could be working also. But anyway, managing your finances. So now you're a small business owner. Believe it or not, it doesn't start with your business. It starts with you personally. You need to put down on paper, and one of my articles, it's about new business startup strategies, and I give all the different steps that they need to go through, and this is one of the first ones. You need to have a personal budget. Okay? Income management. Where is your money coming from? When people start a business, it's usually never from the business. And that's one of the problems. Most people, a lot of people have a job or a retirement. They got to have something coming in. Some of them have nothing coming in. They're living on borrowed money. And that's dangerous. It's stressful, and it's dangerous, and it's a formula for failure. It's a formula. So that's why I advise people, let's put this all on paper. What are your expenses? And now when I say a budget, people might get a whole, oh my God, their head, because most people don't like numbers. People, and I understand that. If you're not an accountant or a bookkeeper, you probably don't like putting numbers together. So I keep it simple. I keep it very simple. Let's take a round figure. No, start with your rent or your mortgage, insurance. Those are numbers you can just look in your checkbook or your bank statement or your credit card statement and see, oh, every month I'm paying this amount. Those are like, they don't change. They don't change every month. Utilities, it goes up, it goes down, but you can get an average. Just take an average. Any loans, how much are you paying every month? Food, and you got to be honest. So I eat out a lot. I eat out too. I cut that down a lot when I started looking at my own P&L. I had excuses. I was too busy. I like the restaurants here, but when I looked at the number, I said, this isn't good. Because not only did I start with the budget, I maintain the budget. It's a moving target. So I will look at it from time to time, my personal budget I'm talking about. And then you need to have some kind of savings goal. Why? Because the experts, not me, I'm talking about the financial planning experts, what they recommend is you have at least 6 months worth of expenses in savings. Okay, so now if you do your personal budget, you come to the bottom line, and then you're going to say, oh my God, I didn't know it cost me this much to live. Oh, and don't leave out things like vacations. birthdays, Christmas. Okay, we have, if you're in the Philippines, this is a 13-month bonus. And Catherine, remind me, last year I started putting money aside every month. We need to start that. In fact, Catherine, we have to do our business budget right after tax season. So put that in Kinton. All right. But you need to have a number. It can't be in your head. It's got to be in writing. And I actually have a little, and this is what I'm going to show this to you so you know that I'm not kidding. I have my own system where I keep track of, so on this, the first page, I have my definite sheet aim. Then I have my principles. I have 13 different principles I follow. Then I have my morning routine. What do I do? Then I have my regular tasks on here. Then I have my goals. I have my major projects. And then I have a page for my budget. Okay, so every day I go through this. It's only a couple of pages, and that's how I keep track of stuff, including my budget. Okay, a lot of times I don't want to look at it because it's scary, even for me. It's reality. It's reality. But what I tell my clients is, once you see what that expense number is, that's how much your business has to generate in net profit after taxes. You got to take taxes into account because these are personal expenses. They're not business expenses. So you got to take home enough at least, and you don't want it to, when I hit this number, I can rest. No, you want the income to be more than your expenses so you can keep putting money on the side. Once you have your personal budget, you need a business budget. Okay? I'm skipping around here because I want to see some of the other slides that I have coming up. So if you're just starting a business, you might have no idea about what your business budget is going to be, but you should have an idea of your startup cost. How much is it, if you haven't started yet, how much is it going to cost you to start the business? Do you need a new computer? Do you need a laptop? So most of the time, so when I started Bedrock, I started from scratch and I didn't have a budget for Bedrock. Like I said, COVID just hit. I had walked away from about 80% of my existing clients. And if you know my story, you know why that happened. It was a conscious decision that I made. So I made that before COVID hit. Just to be clear, I never had a problem getting clients because I would just go out there, network, meet people, and I knew. But then COVID hit, and there were no more meetings. So that's why I started doing the Facebook Lives. Okay. So I really didn't have any startup cost. The only cost that I really had, which I already was paying, was for like my website hosting, my CRM, which we use something called Kartra. So I had to pay a monthly fee for that. All of my dues and subscriptions, that's when I had to upgrade my Zoom account. Okay, I had to buy a couple of other things like StreamYard, what I'm using right now. But I got it all down on paper. And I said, okay, now I know what my business costs are going to be. I know what my personal expenses are. Now I have a goal. You can't be in business and be successful without knowing your numbers and without having goals. And that's one of the biggest mistakes small business owners make. They just go in, especially American business owners, they just go in and say, all I got to do is get business. All I got to do is get clients, and then everything will be fine. No, that's not how it works. That's if you talk to seasoned, successful entrepreneurs like Larry Brodkin, who had over 1,000 employees, doing over 250 million a year. One of the first things I ever heard him say, which I agreed with, he said, if you can't afford an accountant, you shouldn't go into business. Now, a lot of people can't afford an accountant because, like I said, they're starting from scratch. And that's why we created Bedrock. We made the startup cost less than what they spend on coffee every month. Okay, but you got to have a budget. The next thing, okay, yeah. So I got a little bit behind myself. Revenue forecast. This is what the budget should be doing for you. Okay. In Bedrock, we keep what we call KPIs. We track every month a lot of things, but one of the things I track is revenue. So now it's been over 3 years. I have on a spreadsheet every month, and I could see January of 2020. This is how much we did. 2021, 2022, 2023, and so in accounting, it's pretty constant. I mean, the numbers they keep going up because we keep getting more clients. But I could see, okay, January is going to be okay. February is going to be better because now we're doing tax returns. March is going to be even better than February. April, we only got really 2 weeks, but and then what happens? June, July, August, September, it goes down. It goes down because now tax season is over. There's not a lot of things going on. That's when we start strategizing, doing marketing. So there's never nothing to do, but the revenue is going to fluctuate. It's going to fluctuate. And then September, because that's the deadline for people that were on extension. So September starts going up, and then October is the deadline for people, businesses that went on it. No, I got that backwards. Sorry. September is the deadline for businesses, and then October is the deadline for individuals. So, and then it's November, and we're back in December. Nobody's doing anything because it's Christmas. All right, they're all busy going Christmas shopping. So that's the revenue forecasting. It's not enough to keep track of your revenue. It really comes down to cash flow. Okay, cash flow is, you need 2 things in a business. You need revenue and you need cash flow. The only way you have cash flow is if your revenue is more than your expenses. Sounds pretty logical, right? But you have to be on top of your numbers. Risk management. Okay, entrepreneurs take risks. Okay, that's what we do. When Elon Musk started Tesla and SpaceX, they both at the same time almost went bankrupt. The guy takes risks. It's like he loves it. He loves it. And let me just say hello, Charm. Thank you for following Myrna from Paris, and the rest of you. Elle, thank you for watching, and VN. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you all for watching. What happened to my presentation? 1 second, I lost it. this is April 3rd. No, wrong one. Just bear with me 1 second. Just there. Oh, there we are. Okay. I got all excited saying hi to everyone. All right, so let's go. Eventually, hopefully in the beginning, your goal is to establish good credit. Now, I know it's not, how should I say this? The Asian culture is a lot different than the Western culture. Okay, there's the Eastern culture, the Western. The Eastern culture, as far as I know my ex-girlfriend was from China. She's Korean from China. And Philippine people do not like credit. It's almost like, yeah, credit is bad. Westerners, especially Americans, they live off of credit. I'm not saying it's good, but that's how the American economy grew. It's how it grew to be the largest economy in the world. This goes back to 1776, when people they took over they created the United States because they wanted economic freedom. And believe it or not, it's a lot easier to start a business in the United States than it is in the Philippines. I know that this is for a fact. This is for a fact. And it's easy. It's easy for people to get credit in the United States. It's also easy for them to ruin their credit. It's easy for them. Why? Because they're going to buy a car on credit. They're going to go on vacation on credit. They're going to use their credit cards to go out to dinner. They're going to use the credit cards for grocery shopping. And then what happens? Then they keep getting offers for more credit cards. Oh, take this credit card. You're going to get free points. That's the way the American economy is. So a lot of our clients, in fact, one time, Luz has a lot of good quotes that always stick with me. She said, how come all of our clients have like 15 credit cards? And it made me think, because at the time I was using 12 credit cards. I was using 12 credit cards. What I did was, my credit was excellent. My credit was still excellent. But what I was doing was I'd use this credit card. And then after she said that, I looked at it, I said, you know what? You're right. I need to simplify this. So I got it down to really 2 credit cards, an Amex and a Capital One. I don't even really use the Capital One. So I'm pretty much just using the Amex. And also I had, I think, 3 different business bank accounts. Okay, don't ask me why. It was just, so I closed 2 of them. Now we got 1 business, and it makes it easy for our accounting team. Now there's good credit and there's bad credit. So bad credit is when you're using the credit card to go on vacation. That's not good. Bad credit is when you're using your credit card to buy food. That's not good. I don't like car loans. I don't even have a car. Now, when I lived in the United States, I had to have a car, and I took out a loan, and I quickly paid off the loan. I would just make extra payments until the car loan was paid off. Okay, so I don't like financing cars. I will buy an older, cheaper car than a brand new car. Okay, just because I don't want that bad credit. Now, good credit would be something like launching an advertising campaign. Okay, if I know that, hey, we're going to do some Facebook ads, and I'm going to set a budget. Again, you got to have a budget. And I'm going to give this campaign 3 months, 3 to 6 months. This is my budget. If the ads don't start paying for the credit card, then we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. But that's a whole nother story about ads. Using credit cards for ads. Good credit if you're going to buy investment property. Okay, use other people's money to build a real estate empire. Okay, so you credit is okay as long as it's used the right way. So yeah, we talked about, so there's bad credit is when you take out loans, credit cards for stuff that you shouldn't be. Good credit is for stuff that's going to help you generate more money. Now, in the United States, and I'm pretty sure it's probably not that big in the Philippines because a lot of people don't really have credit. Credit cards, loans, it's not, what's the word? It's not the way that you do business here. In the United States, your credit score, there's what they call a FICO score. I don't know what FICO stands for, but it is very, very important. If you have bad credit, a low score, everything is going to cost you more money. Everything, because at some point you're going to need a credit card. And again, in the United States, if you don't have any credit, it's worse than having bad credit. So you need to have credit, not only have some credit cards, actually what the financial plan is, the credit counselor says you need to have at least six credit cards, and you need to use them. Even if it's to buy one thing a month and then pay it off. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to have bad credit. I've had people that had no credit cards, no loans. And then when they needed to start a business and finance it, they had to start from scratch. This is one. So I read another book. It's called The Millionaire Mind. Another brilliant book. It talked about the commonalities. This guy was a doctor, PhD. I forget what his name was, but you can Google it, The Millionaire Mind. And one of the things that all these very, very wealthy people do is they don't go shopping without a list. They don't go to the store without a list. You ever go to a store hungry? Don't do that. Don't do that, because you wind up buying all kinds of stuff that you didn't need to begin with. And then you go home and you say, what the heck did I buy? Okay? Prioritize. You need food. You need things like eggs. In the Philippines, you need rice. Everything is rice. With breakfast, lunch, dinner, you're eating rice. I think even for dessert, you eat rice. Okay, I never ate so much rice in my life, but food waste. Okay, another thing that very, very wealthy people don't do is they don't waste anything. In fact, a lot of them, because what these wealthy people would do, they wouldn't buy cheap shoes. They wouldn't buy cheap furniture. What they would do, so the furniture was more expensive, but it never had to be replaced. So they looked at it as like an investment. The shoes, when the shoes got worn out, they didn't buy new shoes. They replaced the soles. They got as much wear and tear out of what they bought as possible. Okay. And again, going back to the expenses, they always track how much they spent. See, the people that were wealthy, and there's two kinds of wealth. There's the balance sheet wealth and the income statement wealth. Income statement wealth means if that income stops, you're done. It's when people, and American people are notorious for this. If their living expenses are $10,000 a month, they're spending 11. Okay, they're always spending above their means. Wealthy people, balance sheet wealthy, they spend less. They spend below their means. Okay, so it's a clear distinction. It wasn't just, oh, this only had, it was a clear pattern that this is how the wealthy people lived. And that's the end of the slideshow, folks. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that I showed you something new or something that reminded you of something, even if it's the, don't go shopping when you're hungry, Luz, right? Your son will probably tell you. Luz's son is a genius. Okay. Well, we might interview him for one of these shows. But what I would like to ask is that if you're watching this, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Why would you do that? Because you like some of the stuff I say, and when you subscribe, all of these recordings, the lives get announced on my channel, and then that's how you can keep up with it. If you haven't already heard about our Jumpstart Your Freelance Accounting Career, thank you, somebody on my team who's actually putting the links in the chat. If you haven't heard about Jumpstart Your Freelance Accounting Career, it's a community we launched right after our last Jumpstart event because there was a lot of positive energy and a lot of people wanted to know when we would do another event, and it just morphed into a community. We have well over 400 people already. On May 18th and 19th, we're going to have a live event where it's going to be interactive. Larry Broughton's going to be there again. And right now, we're running a special. May 18th, we decided it was going to be the hard launch. That's when we're officially launching. We've been doing almost weekly. I think we've been doing like 3 workshops a month. I think we take like one week off. One workshop every month is hosted by Larry Broughton. He just did one on the honeypot. It was about how do you attract people to you, and it was brilliant, like everything Larry does. But here's the deal. If you join now, there's no obligation to pay any money. We're not even going to ask you for a credit card. And if you join after the hard launch, if you join after May 18th, you get the first 2 months free. So if you join now, you're under no obligation. You're going to get all kinds of information, workshops. We have a private Facebook group. You're going to be networking with your peers. And no matter what level you're at, if you have no accounting experience, but you're thinking about becoming an accountant, we want you. If you have years and years of accounting experience, you already have an agency, but you want to upscale, okay, to bring your business to another level, then you want to try us out. And if it's not for you, we say thank you for trying. But I told my team, if we do our job, everybody's going to stay. Everybody's going to stay. I do these Facebook, these lives specifically for the Jumpstart community. So I'm thinking if you're here, you're already a member, and I want to thank you for that. If you enjoy these, if you enjoy the community, what I'm going to ask you to do is tell your friends about it. Anybody that you think might be interested, like I said, there's no obligation. And that's my story. Anybody, and I say this every time I'm doing any kind of event, a Facebook Live, connect with me. All you got to do is go to Time with Joe and just mention that you saw my Facebook Live and you want to chat with me. And like I said in the beginning, if you want advice about relationships or raising children, don't waste your time. Okay, and that's us. If you ever want to, you could take a screenshot of that. If you ever want to call us, that's my official Bedrock US headquarters. And thank you. God bless. Have a good night, and thank you again, everyone.